It's Thanksgiving week in America, and it seems that the market has decided that it wants to go lower from here. Taking a look at the overall markets today, I just got back from fishing. Been checking my phone throughout the day, seeing what the stocks are doing. Even though I'm not trading, I'm still keeping an eye on the market. You know me. I always got my finger on the pulse. Talking about it in this video. Let's do it. Let's go. What's going on, guys? Patrick here. Today, the overall stock market is getting clobbered. Right now, it's down 2%. This is the SPY, the S&P 500. I'm not really sure what my game plan is. I'm not really sure if I'm a buyer at these levels just yet. What I would really like to see is, at least with the tech stocks, I want to see how this $40 area holds in terms of just, support. Are we going to find support there at the $40 area with TQQ? Now, obviously, this is a 3 times ETF, so it's kind of crazy. And, you really got to look at the overall market, so I'm not going to get all into that. But really, for me, I want to see how we're going to hold here at the $40 area. Looking at this chart, it's really hard to kind of base this type of swing trade on the idea of buying TQQ off of the bounce here, TQQ off the bounce here at this $40 area, because it is a 3 times ETF, and there's a lot of variables that go along with it. But you can see recently from $72 down there to $40. But really, what we should be asking ourselves here is, what is going on with the overall market? So you can see, obviously, this 260 area, we bounced off this the last time. We really thought the market was going to end. Everybody thought the market was going to go really, 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 really low, and we kind of bounced off that 260 area. I think the big problem here is, heading into kind of the holiday week. The market's closed on Thursday. Friday is a half day. It's going to be interesting to see just how it reacts to that. And I think right now we're seeing a lot of people who are just like, hey, I'm not going to hold over, really like a 5-day weekend. Friday being that half day going into the weekend here. So you get a lot of people who are just selling, people who are taking profit, maybe who, bought the dip off the 260 before and kind of sold up to that push of the 280. I think there's also a lot of variables going on, a lot of factors. You look at the overall just strength of the economy. You look at a lot of companies are doing buybacks, which, people might say, oh, it's a good thing that companies are doing buybacks. But I think the big problem is nowadays that, I guess it really was all the days, but I feel like nowadays the big problem, you get a lot of CEOs that come along. The first thing they do is they focus on pumping the share price, because as a CEO, really, your ultimate goal is to get the share price to go higher of a publicly traded company. So there's a lot of fluff out there. There's a lot of things that are going on in terms of what these companies are doing to pump the share price. They might be cutting corners today to pump the revenue for 2018, but then, by 2020, they end up hurting themselves in the long run because they're cutting jobs or they're cutting different manufacturing processes or really just products in general. So that's one of the big issues, I think, right now, personally, when I think about, what's really at the headwind here, what's really holding this market back. You got a lot of issues with the overall debt, too. There's a lot of debt. It seems, I don't know. It seems like there's a lot more debt on the market than people are really letting on. I think there's a lot more debt that's out there that's kind of, hazardous debt that could really pile up quickly if we do have a big major correction that could really turn into, some big problems. And obviously, the USA is in major debt, but that's kind of just like monopoly money anyway. But we really just got to ask ourselves, what's going to be the next big catalyst? What's really going to fuel this next big rally? You can see, we've been kind of just bouncing around. We had a nice little rally from 260 up to 280, back down now. And I'm interested to see just kind of where we end up. We've been at this 260 area multiple times in 2018. I want to see a solid bounce here before I'm thinking about, really going long. And, after 260, what we got next? 255 area? Yeah, the 255 area, 252, 250 area. There's a lot of things going on, obviously with interest rates. A lot of people are scared that the Fed is going to keep increasing the interest rates. But the problem now is that the Fed has came out and said, we're going to increase, that we're going to keep raising interest rates. We think that it's needed. The economy is strong. We need to raise. If the Fed doesn't raise interest rates, that's almost like a red flag where investors are going to be like, wow, that's not good. If the Fed told us before that they thought the market was strong, that the overall economy was strong, if the Fed doesn't raise, well, That's not a good sign. And it seems like today, like I said, I think a lot of people are just kind of, skeptical about going into the weekend. I don't think a lot of buyers might be stepping in there. Got some nice little bounces around there, but right now, really just the overall market taking a hit. You look at some of the tech stocks, they got killed recently, but today they're not doing as bad as really the rest of the market. Facebook's actually green right now. Facebook is green right now, which is pretty crazy. But if you look at the daily chart, obviously this thing's down from $220 down there to $130. I think yesterday was like the big sell-off with the tech stocks. I think the big problem with a lot of the tech companies is a lot of these tech companies are grossly overvalued. There was a time where it was like you could basically buy any of the tech companies, buy any of the tech company stocks, any of the tech stocks, and you would make money. And now it's changing. It's really not the same marketplace in terms of 2 or 3 years ago. If you would have bought Amazon 2 or 3 years ago, if you would have bought Facebook, Nvidia, all these companies 2 or 3 years ago, you could not have lost money. But today, that's a different story. If you bought Facebook, back there in August, thinking this was the bounce, buying that big gap from 220 down there to 170, you're like, oh, this is the bounce. I'm in the bounce. I finally got my pullback. Well, now it's at 130, so you got to be really careful. Also, Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies taking a major hit. It's interesting to see, the ebb and flow. Where is the money going? Are people just pulling the money out of the market? Are they putting it into their shoe boxes? Where is the money going? If they're taking it out of the market, is it just going into their savings account? Where is that money going? This cryptocurrency market is not bouncing. It's just pandemonium. It looks like everywhere. Really, where is the safe haven? Somebody asked me yesterday, said, Patrick, what stock? What stock are you watching right now? And I said, honestly, I'm skeptical of really everything right now. I don't really like anything. There's not one stock that I'm like, this is exciting. I really want to buy this stock right now. So, obviously I'm not a professional analyst by any means, but at the end of the day, I definitely keep an eye on kind of what I think is going on, or at least, what's really going on. I want to get deep into the idea of what is really driving this big sell-off. Is it the interest rates? Is it just the idea that we're just needing a major pullback? Are the tech companies finally dying off in terms of being Wall Street's darling stock? The FANG stocks become just like a fan favorite where everybody's like, you can buy this stock. It's amazing. You can buy Amazon. It's going to the moon. Look at it. I mean, if you would have bought Amazon, back there in 2000 and we'll say 2014, what was that? $300? That is not a bad return, my friends. We'll see how Amazon does there at the $1,400 area. But again, I'm skeptical. I'm skeptical that this is going to be the bounce that's really the big bounce that everyone's hoping for. We had the bounce before on the SPY. We bounced from the 160. We thought this was the rally, but it looks like this was the sucker rally. The suckers rally, which is interesting because you look here. Look at this. We got stuck right at that 280 area, which was, the big sell-off, bouncing, get there at 280, pulls back, get stuck there again. Very interesting. Very interesting. What do you guys think? What is really fueling this sell-off? I'm interested to see your comments down below. Let me know. Leave a comment down below. I'll talk to you guys later on. Is this finally the big sell-off, or is this the continuation of this sell-off from before? Questions that need to be answered. Questions that need to be answered.